Part 1. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where you know the words, but they don't come out quite right? Or you understand the grammar, but your speech still feels awkward or stilted? One key to sounding more natural and fluent in English is using collocations. That is, groups of words that are commonly used together. These aren't just random combinations, they are familiar patterns that native speakers use all the time. But here's the problem. Mastering collocations can be tricky. You may know the individual words, but putting them together in the right way often feels unnatural. In this video, we're going to break down effective techniques for learning and applying English collocations in conversation. You'll learn how to integrate them naturally into your speech, making your English sound more fluid and less forced. By the end, you'll have a practical method to start using collocations confidently in your everyday conversations. So, why should you care about collocations? Well, using them correctly can make you sound like a native speaker, and it's an essential step towards achieving fluency. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to improve your conversational English. Part 2. Let's dive into the importance of collocations and why they matter so much in learning English. Native speakers don't think about the individual words when they speak. They instinctively use certain words together because they sound right. For instance, we make an effort, not do an effort. We take a shower, not make a shower. These fixed combinations are collocations, groups of words that are commonly used together because they just sound natural. But here's the catch. Collocations aren't always logical or easy to guess. If you're learning English, you can't always rely on your first language's patterns. That's why simply memorizing vocabulary or grammar rules doesn't help you sound fluent. You need to internalize these common phrases and practice them so they become part of your everyday language. The good news is, learning collocations doesn't have to be difficult. You can start by listening to native speakers, whether through TV shows, podcasts, or casual conversations. Pay attention to how they combine words and phrases. By repeatedly hearing and using these combinations, you'll start to adopt them naturally into your speech. Another excellent method is to practice collocations in context. For example, instead of just memorizing a list of collocations like make a decision or take responsibility, try using them in sentences related to your own life. I need to make a decision about my weekend plans, or I want to take responsibility for this project. This way, you can visualize and internalize the phrases as you learn them. Part 3. Now, let's break down some effective techniques for mastering collocations. First, we need to understand that repetition and context are key. Here are a few strategies that can help you learn and apply collocations more naturally. Number 1. Read extensively in English. Whether you're reading books, articles, or watching movies, exposure to a variety of texts will help you encounter collocations in their natural context. As you read, underline or highlight the collocations that stand out to you. For example, in a novel, you might notice common phrases like catch someone's attention or run a business. By identifying these collocations in your reading, you'll start to remember and use them more often. 2. Use flashcards. Write down collocations on flashcards, with one side showing the collocation, e.g., take a risk, and the other side with a sentence or example of how it's used. You can review these flashcards regularly to reinforce your memory. If you're studying with a partner, you can quiz each other on the collocations you've learned. This technique works particularly well with spaced repetition where you revisit the cards at increasing intervals to strengthen your long-term memory. 3. Use collocations in your speaking. Try incorporating the new collocations you've learned into your daily conversations. Even if you're practicing by yourself, speaking aloud will help you remember the phrases. Start by practicing sentences that feel natural to you. For example, if you're talking about a difficult decision, you could say, "I have to make an important decision," or "It's hard to make up my mind." The more you use these collocations, the more confident and fluent you'll become in speaking. Part 4. Real-life examples of learners using collocations effectively are incredibly inspiring. One student shared that after consistently practicing collocations in conversation, they began to feel more confident when speaking English. They no longer had to pause and think about which words to use. The phrases came to them naturally. The key for this learner was consistency. They made collocations a part of their everyday language practice. Another learner, who had always struggled with sounding robotic or stiff in English, began watching movies in English with subtitles. They focused on how the characters used common phrases and collocations, then mimicked those phrases. This practice not only improved their vocabulary, but also made their speech sound more natural and spontaneous. By practicing collocations in real-life situations, learners gain confidence and feel more comfortable with the language. Over time, collocations become second nature, and speaking English feels less like a task and more like a fluid, natural process. If you're unsure where to start, remember that even small changes, like practicing a few collocations every day, can make a significant difference in your fluency. Part 5. To sum up, learning and applying English collocations is an essential step in becoming a more fluent and natural English speaker. It's not about memorizing endless lists of rules or vocabulary. It's about incorporating common phrases into your everyday speech. By listening to native speakers, reading actively, practicing speaking, and using flashcards, you can internalize collocations and make them a natural part of your language use. The key is to practice regularly and make collocations a part of your routine. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep using them in your conversations, and over time, you'll start to see how much more confident and fluent you become. So, start today. Choose a few collocations, use them in your daily conversations, and continue practicing. The more you integrate them into your speech, the more fluent and natural your English will sound.